Hello everybody. Since I have recently reached 100 subs as a way of showing my appreciation for your support and interest in my videos, I have decided to update my PVE build for Blade Dancer. So the biggest change to the skills was first of all that X, the spell Thunder Slash, now just gives you electric surges regardless if you hit it from behind or not, which is a very good buff. Other than that, there are no specific changes to the spells. It's still the same rotation. You can engage like this: raid, grab. Oh wait, I will show you the rotations later on. First of all, let's take a peek at the items that are top tier right now. So recently I got the Northern Starblade Soul Shield, which is the legendary pieces that you get from Midnight's Capital Plains, the 24-man turtle raid. I must admit that I am impressed with the boosts that I have obtained by obtaining these Soul Shields. So they are very good. I use this because I didn't get the third part, but you can pretty much use anything that you want. As long as you have 5 pieces of those, it's worth swapping them out. Next you need to use the Oblivion Soul Shield, which is still a top tier Soul Shield, unless you have the Black Tower ones. And this should give you a good starting build. Anyways, as usual, just try to get a substat that involves having critical chance and just use it. Don't beat the dead horse with a stick if you don't have a substat that's critical. It's okay. The soul shields are still very strong even if you have stats that don't have any crit. You can still swap out, I believe, since bonus from the 5 pieces is too big to ignore. Next, there are some changes for PvE, since the new accessories are now better than the older ones. So now you need to actually use the Pinnacle Necklace and the Pinnacle Bracelet, which are obtained from the Shattered Mask 6-man dungeon, and replace it with Pyro Earring only if you have the legendary Soul Shields at your disposition. Other than that, you could still use a True Scorpio Earring, because it's Pyro Earring is not really worth it, because unless you have the Soul Shields and the badge that reduces your Flaming Scourge cooldown. So anyways, this is what you should aim for. As a weapon, I use Serra's Blade simply because, well, first of all, for the skin, as you can see, it's beautiful. Then Baleful might be better, but I mean, why get an ugly sword when you can get a pretty one? And it's still not that bad. You still get some HP when you get hit, and although you will never have resets, it's still okay, since we can, as Blade Dancers, keep our stance up and produce enough electric focus for the duration of it. And bosses don't have mechanics that allow you to hit them 24/7, so it's still okay. But yeah, you can go either Baleful or Serra's Blade. I think Baleful is better suited for you if you are not very good at dodging the boss's skills that knock you back and make you lose the stances. But other than that, for the skin and the pretty nice flicker damage boost, I still would go Serra's Blade. But anyways, it's whatever you want, really. So next, having the pet enhanced is actually pretty nice, but I just mainly have it for the 6 vs 6, since with the new Raven weapons It's very difficult to survive, and I needed that slight boost. This breakbone is broken as fuck. If you don't have a strong enough pet, they will just shred through your defenses. But anyways, you could maybe just upgrade it for the HP recovery on a critical hit to stage 1, Awakened Ghost Pet. For the Suva I still don't have it up, but most people suggest upgrading it up to stage 6 at least. Other than that, it's not really worth it. At stage 6 you get the AP boost, this buff, which is pretty good. And a lot of people just claim that you have a huge DPS increase, although I'm still skeptical about it. The main reason why I didn't upgrade is because it costs a lot, and 70 power attack for 6 seconds, I mean, and 10 AP boost. The critical damage is nice, but the AP boost for 6 seconds, I'm not sure if it's a very strong buff. Whereas if you have it, for instance, at critical, that is totally worth it. But I don't think if you can't up it up here, at least in your lifetime, I wouldn't really focus on upgrading this first. Even the stage 10 buff is actually pretty good. But yeah, if you can just go up to stage 6, go ahead, but don't expect miracles. It's only very strong at like critical or true. Anyway, the reason why the accessories are better is simply because somehow they give you better stats and have better synergy with your PVE ring. That gives you like, and look at the necklace, it gives crit and critical damage, which is very good. Anyways, with these stats I have like very strong stats for PVE. Need to make sure you have at least 10% piercing. You could go up to 15% if you want to deal true damage to certain bosses, which is what I do. I simply use a piercing bonus I have, otherwise I only have 12% because of the necklace that is swapped out. Other than that we would have 15%. And that's pretty much it for the items. So legendary soul shields are very strong. Other than giving you offensive abilities, they also give you defensive abilities. For instance, you have a lot of block chance and evasion, which is actually pretty good. Just make sure you have like 120% accuracy at least, and you should be fine. Anyways, let's check the rotations out. So right now I have 705 AP, but with this specific build, ever since I upgraded to legendary soul shields and had these accessories replaced and got the badge, I think my DPS went from 22,000 to 33,000 in dungeons, at least for mans like Ebon Drake Citadel. Not sure what it will be like in solo content. Let's check it out. 33,000 constant DPS is a lot, considering I only have 705 AP. Which proves the effectiveness of this build. Other than that, most people just use a bracelet since they have the legendary necklace, but if you don't have it, just farm this thing up. It's very easy to get. Some people bid a lot of gold for it, but don't be discouraged and just keep spamming that dungeon. If they go like 10 gold for this, it's not worth it. It's very easy to get, so don't get baited and bid too much gold for it. This one is from Desolate Tomb, which might be a bit trickier to get, but it's still okay if you just play with the true Scorpio earring. As for the bracelet, it's arguably the best in the game right now. You lose some crit chance, but if you have a high enough crit, like close to 60%, it should be okay. I need to upgrade my 8th piece, but too lazy to spam 6-man dungeons. Anyways, so first of all, if you want to make sure your raid skill hits, the stun hits, just go behind the boss and it will hit for 100%. Because if you hit it from the front, sometimes it doesn't work, because it just aggroes you and it's not possible to CC him anymore and your stun won't miss. So what I do is just go behind if you want to make sure it hits. So you press 2, 3, grab, do your usual combo, so your party can hit him. Then you can press X to get your stacks up, then V to your C. As you can see, the flaming scourge cooldown is getting reduced by a lot. Just keep going, press Z again. And anyways, then once it's on cooldown, just go wind build for a bit of time, then you just go back into lightning build, and so on. It's easy to execute, but make sure you dodge the boss's knockbacks or stuns or whatever, and it should be alright. To make sure you're anti-canceling properly, just verify if your lightning flash spell deals more damage than flicker, which is how it should be, and not the other way around. If your flicker damage is higher than the lightning flash, you need to rethink your anti-cancel, which is now I'll show you how to anti-cancel properly. It's not hard, but many people just don't know it yet. But don't worry, I will fill you in how to cancel properly your animation. So it is very simple. You are ready to, you have some builds here. As you can see, this animation is on 2 parts. The first sword slash, that's on the lower side, and another one that's on the higher side. So what you need to make sure to do is, once you attack, you see your sword is right here. That's when you need to press flicker. I'll show you that again. When your sword is up here, you press flicker again. Just like that. And just spamming flicker like this is it works, but it's more efficient to just get your chi up somehow and go into producing more surges. What the lag. Anyways, just don't expect your Reset cooldown of all skills after 10 stacks to work a lot. The only time it might proc is when you're just sitting on dot damage from summoners, you know, that thing they throw on the ground. The Nittos, if you just stand on it and they just keep spamming shit on you, it might proc, but again, it's very difficult. Only works. Anyways, every time you take damage, that procs. But you need to take a lot of damage. For instance, here there are 3 damages, bleed and this blade echo. Need to get hit a lot. But if you just want the resets, just go Beautiful, because even in PvP it will never practically proc. Sometimes it procs for me because I run a full defensive build, but they must have been hitting me for like a minute or two, so anyways, what didn't I tell you? Oh yeah, how to produce electric surges. So electric surge is this thing. It's a buff that lasts for a specific amount of time and gives you electric focus. For instance, if you press lightning draw in the first tire, it will have a buff that lasts like 11 seconds. So every time you hit and it crits, it will produce electric focus, which you can then use to any cancel. When you press Stormcleave, it gives you 3 stacks. Thunder Slash gives you 3 stacks too, so you don't have to rely on it. But the lightning draw is the first spell. Doesn't give you any stacks unless you hit. So the best way to remedy to it is just to use Flaming Scourge and Lightning Draw in unison. For instance, look, there are no surges here, I mean focus, and when you press that you just get in 3 instant focus because you were enjoying stance. The best way to do this thing is to use the Lightning Draw with Flaming Scourge if possible. If not, you just use the Lightning Draw and just auto attack and refill your electric focus, then proceed to any cancelling. So now that I'm thinking about it, I didn't give you my build. So it's very simple. You just take this, anyways, you can read, I guess. You need this thing, just to make sure you stack blade while grabbing. The flicker is here, the thunder spell. Take a second tire if you have the how do you call it, the points. For instance, I'm HM 11 and you have more than enough points to both PvP and PvE properly. HM 10 may be enough. Anyways, what this spell does is just, if you hit raid, you just can instantly hit your right click somewhere. So let's go back to the build. I like to take this one because you could use this one, but it's not very good because it just puts you in joint stance and removes your grab. So I prefer to use this one. It also deals a lot of damage. Then you got Lightning Strike, Lightning Crunch. This is useful, for instance, when the boss uses a blocking spell, like the one in lair 6, it's a lair dungeon. The block, you just press F and the block goes away. It's also good on trash mobs that just keep spamming block, sometimes like Kung Fu Masters and Blade Masters. Then you have Maelstrom. You can use this one if you already have a Blade Master in your party or Blade Dancer, because this one overrides a spell. I mean, it gives you this debuff, Blade Locked, which means you can't just use it at the same time as the other one who uses it. This one removes debuffs like poison and other stuff like slows, and just use this one if you're playing by yourself or you have already a HM block in your party. Next you have the tab. You only need this in Ebon Drake Citadel. You can just roll like this normally, so you get stunned, you can escape, otherwise you can't if you spec no points at your tab. Then you have the boots. This 3 knockdown it's not necessary really, but it's useful against trash mobs, so you just CC them longer. Then you have this one for the knockdown. You don't need this because it's just PvP for PvP. If you play properly, you shouldn't have any cheap problems, and you can just use this combo to knock the boss down. What I prefer to do is just go out of his range. You see here, if you go further than 3 meters, just press 1, 1, then grab. This for obvious reasons, you need to stun the boss and just to grab him and stuff. This thing gives you a bit of damage when you grab, and it also gives you back some chi regen. So if you're running out of chi, and you can just use this and refill your chi and keep going. The spell also does the same thing. You can also refill your chi with raid, like this. Anyways, you need this just to give the critical bonus to your allies. And this for obvious reasons, since we're going for the light build. You also need this. Here you can use this one. You can also use this one if you the main difference is that this one will give you more DPS, since it just does more damage overall. However, you can use this one because it produces electric surges, and you can cast it twice. Here I failed, but you can cast it twice. But I prefer to use this one simply because it's easy to manage, since my Flaming Scourge and stuff just gets back on cooldown thanks to this patch. And then you have Stormcleave for obvious reasons. The only exception when you shouldn't run it is when you need to grab the boss a lot, so you can just use Daze in addition to this badge that resets your grab. I mean, you can use your grab twice, and other than that, if you don't want to grab the boss a lot or just can't, you just need to go with this badge and use the Stormcleave. Then you have this one, but it's just me to give you back HP and make you invincible, but you don't really need it unless you lag very badly. Then you have this. If you don't spec this, what will happen is that when you press V, nothing will happen. Basically, it makes this spell useless. So make sure you spec it. Other than that, it also makes this spell useless. Whatever. Anyways, you need this if you want to run this. That's all I'm saying. Other than that, it serves no purpose at all. If you're just running this and never running Stormcleave, you can just unspec it and use the point elsewhere. So I think I'm done here. thanks for subbing. Getting 100 subs when you're not really advertising your content and spamming stuff like sub me. It doesn't seem like a lot of subscribers, but when all the subscribers are interested in watching my videos, it means a lot. Anyways, thank you guys, and I hope this guide will help you improve in Blade & Soul as Blade Dancer. See you on the next video.